Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Professor Ronnie Brown and I'm head of London College of Fashion. I'm delighted to welcome you this afternoon to the launch of Fashion Values, an initiative which is being created by the Centre for Sustainable Fashion and to launch here. It's headed up by my colleague and director of the Centre, Professor Dilys Williams. But before we begin, it gives me great pleasure to announce the partners who have come together to make this initiative possible, all of whom join us today. They are Kering, IBM and Vogue Business. We're extremely grateful for your ongoing contribution to this work, and you have shown enormous commitment to our students and the development of sustainability in fashion education. This project is a direct result of the important partnership that LCF and Kering embarked upon over 5 years ago, which resulted in new kinds of designers going out into the world, graduating from courses at LCF and the Kering Awards programme. The partnership has enabled the world's first open access course in luxury fashion and sustainability, which to date has been accessed by over 70,000 people in 192 countries. My thanks to you, Marie-Claire and Francois-Henri Pinault, for your extraordinary leadership and for investing so brilliantly in the next generation. I'd also like to welcome our partners at Vogue Business, whose industry engagement reaches millions around the world. We began the partnership in 2019, co-creating the Sustainable Fashion Glossary, a much praised go-to for fashion editors, designers, and students. Thank you for all that you bring to Fashion Values and for helping to change the way we talk about and understand sustainability in fashion. We are also proud to welcome IBM to Fashion Values, who worked with UAL last summer to build an extraordinary digital platform at great speed, transforming how UAL exhibits and showcases graduate work. Their world-leading expertise will enable Fashion Values to connect with people on a brand new platform, allowing us to open source knowledge that can be shared across the globe. And finally, I'd like to thank Caroline and the British Fashion Council for hosting today's fantastic event. The importance of your ongoing commitment to sustainability through the Institute of Positive Fashion and to the next generation, especially throughout this devastating pandemic, cannot be understated. Launching this initiative today at London Fashion Week is another important step in our shared vision to address the need for change and build a stronger and equitable fashion industry. Welcome to you all and welcome panelists. Caroline, I'm handing over to you.
Thank you, Ronnie. It is an absolute pleasure to be here and to host the launch of Fashion Values at London Fashion Week, which is now presented by ClearPay. So it wasn't so long ago that we were all together at 180 The Strand, celebrating the launch, as you said, of the MOOC, so the first open access course in luxury fashion and sustainability with Kering and the London College of Fashion. And it's great to hear how many people have accessed that course all around the world since that launch. Things have changed a lot since then, and we've all been stuck at home for almost a year. But what hasn't changed is our commitment to moving the environment agenda forward and working towards a circular fashion industry. If anything, the pandemic has accelerated this. It's enabled people to slow down a little bit, to take stock, to look at their businesses and how to do things differently and hopefully how to do things better. As you said, at the British Fashion Council, our Institute of Positive Fashion brings together knowledge and expertise that can help us to change the fashion industry to one that we continue to be proud of, with sustainable and responsible businesses at its heart. So this is the beginning of a decade of change as we prepare for COP26 in November in the UK this year. I think is that it makes it front of mind for all of us that we all have to play our part in activating change and to do it now. Today, for the launch of this Fashion Values, I applaud London College of Fashion, of course, Centre for Sustainable Fashion, Kering, IBM and Vogue Business for coming together for the greater good. We can only achieve change through collaboration, and Fashion Values is a great example of that in action. I'd now like to present a film about the initiative by Nadira Amrani. Thank you all very much.
Fashion is one of the identifying markers of being human. Each day we say something about ourselves through what we wear.
The future of fashion is directly linked with sustainability.
If you decide to be a designer, you have to think responsible and think about the community in which you live.
We are nature. Every cell in our bodies, every in and out of our lungs is part of a living system that connects all of life. What does it mean to you to be a designer now?
When I look forward, I see the future of fashion at the intersection of value and values. To consumers, to retailers and brands, to growers and producers, to the communities in which we all reside, and to the planet as a whole. As the next generation of fashion talent, I count on you to look at this with a fresh perspective.
It's about creativity, of course, inside the product design, but also in the way fashion brands tell their story to their clients.
Many consumers have woken up to the level of overconsumption and waste.
The future of fashion depends on what we value. The future of fashion depends on how we imagine ourselves to be.
What does the future of fashion look like? It looks positive, it looks engaging, it means innovation. Fashion wants to make changes. I mean, this year has been challenging. We need to be more responsible and more focused on changes for a better future.
We have the opportunity for a big reset, to restore some balance in the supply-demand equation.
We're in a time of deep change. I hope that you can be part of a regenerative world where we all recognize our ecological identities.
Good afternoon and good morning, everybody who's in other parts of the world. Thank you very much for tuning in as we launch Fashion Values, a programme that intends for the beneficiary to be nature, the actors, the next generation of designers, and the activity, all that is involved in fashion. I'm Dilys Williams, the Director of Centre for Sustainable Fashion and Professor of Fashion Design for Sustainability at London College of Fashion. Fashion Values is an education programme developed by the Centre in collaboration with Kering, IBM and Vogue Business, and with partners and advocates around the world, educators, people from NGOs, people from all sorts of walks of life. Thank you to everyone involved. Our aim is to recognise and support a generation of fashion designers that can explore what living in nature means to fashion and create restorative practices in different places and different ways. Our aim is to recognise and support these people as they represent such a large part of the world. The fashion and textiles industry provides jobs to around 1 in 6 people globally. And education for these roles includes prestigious university degrees, inspiring vocational courses, and valuable in-work training. But quite often the success of this education is perceived as its ability for the learners to gain employment in an industry that continues to extract and exploit. And beyond that, many, many people working in fashion never have access to learning about it. It's a systemic problem. We need to connect change and opportunity in industry and education simultaneously. So that's what we're doing here. Fashion Values connects teaching and learning with fashion business practice, media narratives, and technology applications. We're creating networks where people can learn from each other. We know that the fashion system was designed for the Holocene, dominated by centralized, industrialized production and consumption practices that are not fit for the era in which we live. The fashion system has been based in the past on colonial thinking and discrimination of many kinds. This must be recognized, but it must not play any part in our legacy in what we teach, learn, or practice. So through the content of Fashion Values, we want participants to unravel this extractivist thinking and to recognize that as individuals, species, and societies, we're embedded in the cyclical processes of nature. So the call out is for fashion that celebrates our interdependencies, which does not mean we need to look the same, we need to do things the same, or that we need to have fashion looking the same. But it's about fashion that looks at our distinctions in relation to our connections. We think that this is a really exciting way to start thinking about designing fashion. We also know that crises can create an unraveling too. We're in a stage now where we're seeing this play out in real time. The convergence of climate, societal, and related health crises, alongside changes in communication, energy, materials, transport, and manufacturing technologies, means that we are changing the conditions for humanity. This is changing where, how, and with whom we eat, dress, and live. So much is at stake, and so much is possible. It depends on what we value, what we support, and what we recognize. So, as we said, the courses are open source, open to the 70,000 plus people that are already in our education network, but also open to anybody who wants to develop their knowledge and share their ideas around fashion and nature. And the courses themselves will enable learners to be supported in a design thinking process so they can generate, prototype, and evaluate their ideas, as well as co-learning with people in different parts of the world. The education course is based on participatory design practice. And as well as creating the courses, we've created the Fashion Value Challenge, a call out for exemplary ideas that evidence what fashion, when it values nature, looks like. And we'll be showcasing the responses to the challenge to inform, inspire, and promote fashion sector change. So to talk a little bit more about the programme itself, I'm really honoured to be joined by 5 people who I feel very privileged to know and to work with. So here this afternoon is Marie-Claire Deveau, Chief Sustainability Officer and Head of International Institutional Affairs at Kering. She's responsible for Kering's bold sustainability strategy, bringing it to life across all of Kering's Maison. As I know personally, Marie-Claire is passionate about sustainability, about new ideas, about empowering women as leaders and championing animal welfare. Sara Maino is Deputy Director of Vogue Italia and Head of Vogue Talents, which is an awe-inspiring project and a network that scouts the best emerging talent around the world from so many places. Sara's deep commitment to and belief in the next generation of young designers means that incredible talent is both recognised and given the support that it deserves and needs. As Fashion Values Ambassador, we are so proud that Sara brings an incredible energy and vitality to the programme of work here. Carl Haller is the Consumer Centre of Competence Leader and Retail Industry Expert for IBM Global Business Services. Knitted into Carl's tech expertise, we found out, is a fashion background. So many of us have got fashion in our DNA. So we found out about you, Carl. And as Ronnie said at the beginning, maybe some of the work that IBM have done around Next Generation is really exemplified through the incredible showcase that IBM created for all UAL graduates in the summer. DJ Lin is an interdisciplinary designer and researcher whose analytical rationality and aesthetic sensibility fuse together to create outstanding work. I'm lucky enough to know that firsthand because DJ is a Kering Award winner and MA Fashion Futures graduate. And her current work involves developing carbon positive materials and looking at the impact of design on consumer daily commodities. And Abi Asakan, also I'm very lucky to know as well, because he is a Kering Awards winner and graduate of LCF. He uses engaging design techniques to intelligibly communicate complex scientific information. Abi intersects technology in behavioral studies and looks at his design practice in relation to speculative design and uses augmented reality and game theory to explore ideas about better futures. So, pretty amazing panel. Can I ask you, Marie-Claire, first of all, as somebody who has been a partner with thinking about new talent for a long time with us at CSF, can I ask you why you're renewing your partnership with us, these vows of of supporting the next generation? And why do you think that the success of this past programme is important for us to consider?
First, hello Delis, and hello everyone. I'm very pleased to be with you this afternoon to speak not only about sustainability, but about our new partnership. So, as you know, at Kering, we are well aware about the state of our planet and the urgency to act. When we listen to the GIEC, but also we listen to IPES, we know that we have less than 10 years to shift paradigm. So we know that there is a kind of urgency to act. After, when we think how we can tackle this issue, climate change, loss of biodiversity, resource scarcity, and also what is happening on the social side, I really think that education plays a crucial role. And because at Kering, we take it as a responsibility, as leader in the fashion industry, we want really to contribute to the evolution of fashion, not only for one segment, but really for the whole industry. First, by sharing our expertise with industry counterparts, and also, as I mentioned, educating future generation, because the young generation are really key to tackle this issue. And I think when we look at this educational program, mixing the expertise of the industry and the knowledge of academia, it's really something very interesting, something very powerful to empower the next generation of fashion designers, and also more broadly, all the people that we work in our industry. I think it's not the answer, but it's a key part of the answer. And I would like to end by saying the current situation we live with the COVID-19 crisis, I think it underlines all the issue, all the challenge. That's why really there is a kind of urgency to act and to train people.
Thank you, Marie-Claire. I really appreciate that, and it makes a lot of sense. And just thinking about the people listening in now and the people who are going to be coming onto the platform, what would you like to say to students and to the next generation of designers who are listening to us right now?
Oh, many things, but I know that we don't have so much time. So, as I mentioned previously, I think the students and the young generations are really well placed to feel the state of urgency where we live. And I think they are in the first also role to answer and to find solutions. So the thing that is very key for me is to say with this program, you will be also able to find some key solutions that you will be able to implement. So to all the students out there, I would like to say them, first, we don't have much time ahead of us, and the task of changing the fashion industry will be part fall on your shoulders, so you have to act. Secondly, taking those courses will enable you as future fashion designer, marketers, merchandiser, to make the right choice to create sustainably and really to think about what I can do to tackle this issue I mentioned previously. And one piece of personal advice, the world needs optimistic and bold people. Never give up. Whatever high the barriers are, you can do something, you can bring something, and you can change the world by what you will do. So listen these courses.
Thank you, Marie-Claire. That's a great call to action. And I completely agree with you. You know, things might be tough, but unless we remain optimistic and unless we're positive and find new ways to do things, yeah, we'll get stuck. It's up to us. So thank you, Marie-Claire.
Thank you.
Sarah, can I ask you now a couple of questions? You've been doing incredible work already around looking at the next generation. Why have you decided to be ambassador to the Fashion Values Programme?
Hi everyone. First of all, thank you for having me in this panel. Well, I think that,
we as people from the industry and that we have the chance to give messages and create awareness. I think it's very important in a way to give back our professionality and at the same time, to support the new generation. So for me, it was kind of natural to be part of it because I feel it more of a kind of a opportunity for myself and even a way to learn new things, and at the same time to give, to open the door to all those to the new generation and to help them in education, which is, I think, the fundamental to think of a big change that will happen in the future, because education is the starting point for everyone. So even for those people who do not have access to education. So I think it was kind of natural to be part of it, and thank you for asking.
Thank you, Sarah. And what you say about the fact that we all continue to learn, as much as we share what we know and our experience and expertise, but we also learn from each other. And this program, I think, is a chance for us to see the responses and see what the next generation is saying to us. What do you think that the next generation of designers are best placed to do? What can they learn from us and maybe do even better than we are able to do right now?
Well, probably right now, for what we have done until now and what has happened in the last year, it's more us learning from them. But for sure, I mean, what they can learn from us, it's the fact that it's more about us giving them, the chance to learn from us, because sometimes, I mean, the fashion industry was seen as an industry which was not accessible, and right now it's becoming accessible, to make positive changes. So I do think that we need to continue to do that. And the way that they can get from us, it's giving them access to all those, which can be technology, education, chances, support, and possibilities, to go, in a better direction, because the new generation is very conscious about what needs to change, but at the same time, there are still, problems and accesses of how to do it. So I do think that we are in a moment where changes are happening. We know that it cannot, be from one day to another, but it's very important, to start. And this is something that we need to give, the access to them to do it.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much. And thank you for being here today. I know, your Fashion Week starts tomorrow, so thank you.
Yeah, very strange Fashion Week, always digital, but always busy, but always very happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And now maybe if I can ask Carl, from your perspective and thinking about why the program is important to IBM.
So first, I want to say thanks to you and the entire Center for Sustainable Fashion and London College of Fashion teams for our partnership, which now goes back, I think, almost 3 years. And I want to also mention that, I'm here today as part of a much larger team of IBMers who have done the real work, behind the learning platform and the digital showcase. So I want to say thanks to them as well. I've had the good fortune of working in and around the fashion industry for the better part of 25 years. And the emotional connection that people get from clothing and accessories, it's one that's quite unique and special, not replaced with almost anything else. However, the industry has, as the other panelists have said, it's not been a leader in sustainability. And programs such as Fashion Values help bring that to the forefront and bring the intersection of sustainability and business together. And so we think that's a very important venture to be part of.
Thank you, Carl. And thinking about the next generation of creators, and you're right, fashion intersects so many different disciplines, and it's got an economic, ecological, social, cultural, technological dimensions that involves every one of us. But thinking about the next generation of designers and the people who are going to be coming to this challenge, what do you think that you may find from them that you don't find sort of inside existing industry ideas?
Yeah, I'll echo some of what Marie-Claire and Sarah both said. Students approach challenges with a unique perspective. I love working with students because they bring fresh thinking and they're not encumbered by the way the business has been run for the past 50 years. those of us who have been in the business for a while, we can provide guidance and we can kind of steer people in a certain direction. But it's that next generation who will define the future of this industry. And frankly, they're the ones who are going to have to take us there. So to any students who are watching this, the bit of advice I would say, and it echoes what Marie-Claire was saying, start now. Don't wait for others. Don't wait for permission. There are things you can do now individually within your classes, or if you have the benefit of working at a larger company, to start steering things in the right direction so that we have a vibrant future of this industry.
Thank you very much, Carl. Thank you. And in fact, that's the perfect note for me to then turn to DJ, because DJ is a fairly recent graduate of ours, and so maybe you can give a perspective of what it means to kind of be bold and what it takes, and and maybe some advice for the participants here, because you're kind of 1 foot in either direction here. So DJ, what advice would you give to people who are stepping out now?
I mean, in terms of how, because of my experience from the Caring Award, I think this is a really, really precious opportunity for anyone. First of all, information about sustainable fashion is, really confusing and sometimes difficult to navigate, especially in times like this with so much information online. While here in this program, you have people who have been working on sustainability and in the fashion realm since when, maybe in the 70s, 80s, when everybody's still talking about glamour and economic growth. So this is a treasure chest of where you can find all that information, really. And from my experience, I think, like the previous panelists have said, we need to address the need for change. And then the question then comes, sometimes you think about the why. But at times that why sometimes stays quite superficial because it's difficult to dig deeper into the root problems because you're not necessarily in industry yet, or you don't have that many years of industry experience. Well, this is the chance for you to dig deeper, to actually look into the core problems that are not necessarily on the surface. And then again, the next question is how? How do you actually address that need for change? Because, unless you maybe have a degree in, say, environmental science or social innovation, sometimes it's really difficult to find, the relevant information as well as helpful, meaningful actions to take. And if you're part of the program, you then have a cohort, you have people that you can ask, which becomes much more motivating, and you can make new friends. And from these programs, you can have not just a valuable network. And from my experience, I had so many very inspiring conversations and insights just from interacting with your mentors, interacting with the cohorts. And that has been very, very beneficial just from the beginning, And in terms of tips and advice, I think this would be the great chance for anyone who's participating. Do not lose this chance to be extremely critical to your own practices, because this could be a very life-changing moment and almost a bit existential if you're working in the creative practice area. And also, if you're interested in moving towards sustainable practices, I mean, this is the great starting point. Everything's free and open source. So why not?
Thank you, DJ. Thank you. Yeah, indeed. Why not? And you've actually described different elements of what we've got on the platform. So I know we haven't got very long to talk about them, but as you say, on the one hand, we've worked with tutors and researchers and academics from different parts of the world, from Dr. Zhang at Tsinghua in China, and Dr. Bani in NIFT in India, as well as various other people. And then on the other hand, we've got the voices on the platform and the methods that have been brought to us by Kering and their team, by Vogue and by IBM. So all of these different perspectives are brought together, and the new formats that we've got, the format for the online course now is even more interactive. So learners can speak to each other. And I know that we're going to learn a lot from those conversations as well. So thank you, DJ, for your sharing of that advice and those insights. So maybe I can turn to Abby and ask you as well, as somebody else who has been through the process of mentoring and been through the process of taking the awards and being a student. Can you tell us a little bit about what you think is important about this program?
So what I see is a trend of people moving towards people looking for value in the products they buy. Maybe before they only looked for personal and economic values, but today additionally you need to have social and environmental values in the products. So we need to create products which have these values in them. These products and systems can't be produced in the same way we did before. So programs like these are of tremendous importance in building the future businesses. We need procedural thinking. We need a framework to implement sustainable ideas. We need tools to measure the impact that we create today on our economic systems, on ecosystems. So we need to educate ourselves. This is the time to educate ourselves to future-proof our companies and systems. As this program is themed, it's from age of extraction to age of regeneration. I don't think there is enough material anywhere to learn this sort of subjects, and especially through a fashion's perspective. So this sort of programs impact the way you think. So this sort of design thinking and systems thinking is crucial in building future businesses.
Thank you. And yeah, you're absolutely right. We are a little bit ambitious with our hope to be able to go from the age of extraction to the age of regeneration, but this is the starting point. And if the intention around is, I mean, there's very few design briefs that are written, if any, that say the beneficiary is nature. So you know, by starting to place the beneficiary as nature in a design brief, we start to kind of change the compass on what we think about as good practice, and also to no longer stand for the kinds of practices that we don't want to, that don't align to our values. So thank you. You've got great points there. And then any advice to anybody either taking the courses or wanting to contribute to the challenge?
Yeah. So just take it, close your eyes and take it. Whatever you feel there's a challenge for you, this is an opportunity to change the way you think. So we have a lot of life experiences and educational experiences which will teach us this is the way, you know, has to happen. This is the framework. Now suddenly you break that framework and some new challenges in front of you. You will come up with different ideas, new ideas which you have never had before. So and getting an industry mentorship and then any sort of mentorship from people like experts like you is invaluable. When I had my awards experiences, that's one thing which I will cherish for the rest of my life. So that mentorship is very valuable and crucial for your professional and personal life. So whosoever is taking it, be a part of this program successfully, come out with new ideas and new businesses and new products. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abby. I don't know if we can get everybody on the screen. I know we didn't go through this, but it would just be great to hear if there's anybody on the panel who wants to say anything else or anything in response to anything that anybody else has already said. I know that, we can't be quite as spontaneous as we would be if we were face to face, but is there anything that anybody wanted to add before I give the information about what's next? No, right. Well, I'm gonna go on to what we're going to do next. But first of all, huge thank you to all the panelists. It's so lovely to see you and spend time with you. I would have much preferred for it to be face to face. You know, I'm a face to face person, but it's incredible that we can only do this with Carl because we're online, because he's on the other side of the world. So thank you as well for having a completely different timeline on this. So very much appreciate being able to talk with you all this afternoon. And now to act. registration for the first of the courses, Fashion and Nature, opens today. So please register. The course itself starts on the 12th of April, and there will be 3 further courses launching later this year. And you'll be able to see on the platform the timescale for being able to join the courses, how long the courses are open for, how long you have access to the material for. The Fashion Values Challenge will also go live on the 12th of April. We got together a huge number of really important advocates of the programme in a discussion and a debate, and we've got amazing insights from them that we're pulling together, which is informing exactly how that challenge is going to play out. And as was said before, you know, we're not looking for the answer. There isn't one answer. We're looking for a mass of ideas in the context of mass extinction. We want ideas that can be of benefit to nature through fashion's products, through its services, through its systems. We want a diversity of approaches, and we really want to be able to showcase what fashion can look like. We already know from working with various businesses, with the Maison at Kering, with a lot of the small designers we work with some of the amazing designers that Sarah has found through her work, that new ideas exist, and obviously through DJ and Abby's work. We're not starting from scratch, but it's absolutely critical that these new ideas get recognized, supported, and honoured. So please join the challenge so that we can have an opportunity to be able to showcase your work. And we invite you to join our community online. Megan has done an amazing job, as everybody in the team, to get the message out about how to sign up. Social media at Fashion Values. We are sharing on the platform, and Carl talked about the Fashion Values platform. We are sharing a range of ideas that run from 4-week courses through to shorter methods, voices, ideas. So whether you want to dive into something and take a course, or whether you want to have a 20-minute listening or watching something that is an insight from industry, there's a range of ideas and resources that are going to be there online, the first of which is already up, but we will be continuing to grow what's on that platform. And the ideas will look at fashion in the context of nature and draw on ideas of design, media, communication, and technology. So we would love to hear from you. We want to learn from you as well. So please get involved on social media and let us know what you think as well. So yeah, we're really at the end now of this little moment that we've got to be able to launch today. It's been a long time coming. I just want to say a huge thank you again to all of the partners. Look forward to coming work with you as well, and all that it will involve. To all of the advocates around the world, I know a lot of them are listening in and have woken up early or stayed up late, so thank you for that. Your support for Ambitions is really, really valued. To BFC, Caroline, thank you very much for hosting us as part of London Fashion Week. We're very proud of our alignment with you and with the Institute of Positive Fashion. As you said, we launched our first course with you at a time where, yeah, Nina and I, who started working on the course, we're definitely not very technologically savvy. So we've learned a lot along the way as well. To everyone at Centre for Sustainable Fashion and at London College of Fashion, a huge thank you for making this all possible today. It's a great privilege for me to be working with each and every one of you. So thank you very much and goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah,